Some people play the game, others change the way the very game is being played. Michael Jordan was one of those individuals. In fact, Phil Jackson, Michael's longtime coach at the Chicago Bulls, said about MJ, he said, if you were to take away all of the glitz, all the glamour, all of the marketing, he said Michael would have still dominated the game of basketball because of the mental edge that he had over the competition. Specifically, what he was referring to was his vision, and even more specifically, his adaptive vision. His ability to be so engaged in the moment, so focused on the desired set of outcomes, that he could take any number of different unpredictable strategies or best practices by which to be able to achieve that end goal, constantly keeping his competitors reeling on the defensive, not knowing which way he was going to go. It's that exact same kind of adaptive vision that the artists of the past, the Picassos and Michelangelos and Mozarts and Beethovens have used to create breakthrough works of art that no one had ever seen or experienced before. And that exact same kind of adaptive vision that the great entrepreneurs of today are using to create game-changing, disruptive strategies that your competitors have never seen before either. And I guess one thing that I would want you to know about me personally is that I've not always been an artist. In fact, I just started painting for the very first time in my life when I turned 30 years old. I knew as a kid, I knew as a little boy that I enjoyed painting, that I enjoyed drawing, but unfortunately, I was told flat out by that fourth grade teacher that I wasn't a very good artist because I didn't color within the lines. Because I went too fast. Because I didn't pay attention to details. Because I didn't draw the red apple red and the orange pumpkin orange. No. Unfortunately, I listened to her, and I quit. And I set down my paintbrushes, and I didn't pick them up again for another 20 years. And as I went through what was at that point the blueprint for academic success, as I went through what was being encouraged of me, I became practically an impenetrable facade of no-nonsense, business-like seriousness. I didn't have any time for stuff like creativity of the arts. To me, employee of the year had been almost associated with workaholic. And as I continued pushing, as I continued grinding, it wasn't until a series of events that happened in my own life that rocked my core foundation, both personally as well as professionally, following the tragic events of 9/11. That my business went into a financial freefall. And it was gut-wrenching. And I felt sick. Because everything that I had done and been and used to define myself, not only as a professional, but also as a man, all of a sudden I felt was taken from me. And I went into a financial freefall. And what really disgusts me the most, and looking back now, is somewhere, somehow along the way, I had made that association of coupling my self of sense worth alongside my net worth. And when one evaporated, so did to go the other. And I was completely lost. And a friend of mine, who's a psychologist, who was watching me spiral down, said, listen, for a moment here, you've got to step away. he recommended that I disconnect from this nightmare of a paradigm and association that I have built up that I had now lost. And he recommended that I go and that I travel in an effort to get away, or to do something that I did as a kid as a cathartic release, like painting or drawing or something. Well, I just lost everything that I had. I didn't have any disposable income by which to go and to travel, and I think, as they say, go and find yourself. So it really was by default. I would say more than anything else, in an effort to placate him, that I went and bought some brushes and some paint and just kind of slipped into my garage and just sort of started fiddling with paint. It was that